the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 662. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
I am doing okay. Jay, did I told you before my history with the Knicks. Not my fan, but going to Knick games.
Yeah.
I've seen them win games, but I've had a fair share of games that, like, I was there when the Knicks won. I think it was like 12 of 13 with Linsanity. I was there for that one loss. A couple of years ago, when the Knicks went on, they had lost that game to Dallas. They went to 10-13, and then they won a huge winning streak, and the season, like everything went great with the season. I was at that Dallas game when they lost by 30 points right before they got their shit together. I was at the game 7 against the Pacers when they lost as well. Mm-hmm. I've had some history of going to games that are just frustrating to go to.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Knicks have won 3 of 4. We asked for 3 of 4 since the last show. They won 3 of 4, and I went to the one loss. Took my whole family to the one loss. Wonderful. Paid a fortune, the 4 of us, to go see the Knicks in person, lose to the goddamn Pistons.
Can you stop going to games?
I may have to stop. My daughter really, I've taken my son in the past. My daughter was like, my son's 13, my daughter's 10. My daughter was like, I never get to go to games. When am I going to go to a game? So we planned it out. Mm-hmm. It's 4 times the price to take all of us. Tickets are ridiculous. By the way, when you're getting tickets, when would you buy the tickets if you were going to go to see the Knicks play? Like, when would you actually buy the ticket?
I don't know, probably a couple days before.
So I was thinking about it. I was like, the week before they had a Sunday game,
mm-hmm.
and right before, and I was looking online when the tickets were like off of like the secondary markets, when they would drop, and I found like maybe 4 or 5 hours before the game, the tickets were like had dropped a little bit, like there were solid prices for the game. I was like, oh great, let me do the same thing. I do the same thing, the Saturday night game, about 5 hours. I'm like, we're on the train heading to the game. I still haven't bought the tickets. I see one ticket at an okay price for like. It seems like prices aren't dropping,
mm-hmm.
so I'm like, fuck it. It was like, I think I spent $200 for the ticket. I was like, for a piece, whatever, which is a lot to spend for one night for
mm-hmm.
a family of 4. But anyway, from there, the prices just skyrocketed.
Oh wow!
Like I got the last cheap tickets they had, and then like by like 20 minutes before the game, tickets were like at least $100 more.
Wow. I missed the Marbury days where you would go to MSG like an hour before the game and there would be like $10 tickets, like an entire section.
Right before they got Amari, the tickets were still cheap. You can get $10 tickets on like, and obviously the Knicks got better and everything else and blah blah blah. But the ticket prices are just absurd.
Yeah. Those $10 seats are now like $60 minimum, usually more.
Yeah, usually more.
Yeah.
My daughter though was getting into it. She was rooting for them. She's like, yeah, like she was really getting into it. I wasn't sure if she was going to get into it. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, they're not going to win tonight. Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Yep.
At one point she's like, why aren't those players trying when they're shooting free throws? I'm like, I don't know why they're not trying. She's like, when I shoot on our driveway, I make those shots. I'm like, well, you could teach them how. I mean, they're actually the best team in the league at free throws, yet they can't hit a single one tonight.
They missed an absurd amount of free throws.
Absurd amount of free throws. It was like unbelievable. Like I forget what the final score, if they would have won with a free throw, but they probably would have won the game if they hit their goddamn free throws.
Yeah, it was. They lost by 9 and they missed 11 free throws. Yeah.
So I have to tell you, I guess I should be in a good mood. They won 3 of 4. I was a Karl Anthony Towns dagger away from just being goddamn angry this whole show.
Well, you know what? You keep saying 3 or 4. They've won 5 of 6.
Okay, well, whatever. They won 3 or 4. That's what since the last show they won 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. I mean, it's not like it was a killer's row of teams, but The Magic win was really nice.
The Magic win was nice. So since last show, they beat the Magic. They beat the Magic were on fire until that game.
Yeah.
The Magic had won like 10 of 11 or something like that coming into the game.
Yeah.
So that was and they beat them handily.
Yeah.
They beat also who was the other one?
The
They
Hornets.
The Hornets. They beat the Hornets, and this wasn't like they beat the crap out of the Hornets. They didn't like.
It was a drubbing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the last Hornets game was kind of embarrassing. So this one was a good win.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to the Pistons, which kind of sucked, and they squeaked by the RJ led Raptors. But I mean, wins are wins, right?
Yeah, I saw some people saying like, "Oh, we shouldn't get excited because they're barely beating these crappy teams." It's fine. They're winning. Would I like them to win by more? Yeah, obviously. But they've won 5 out of 6. That's good. I'm not going to be like, but how did they win those games? Like
Their net rating is pretty high because they have a bunch of like blowout wins also.
yeah,
And
they,
the only time they've got blown out themselves was that Celtic game to start the season.
they've also creeped into the. I think they're like 16th in defense, and they were 27th for a while. So they're getting there. They're getting it together.
They're 16th in defense.
I think so.
You might be right. It's also because like they have these wins where like you beat the crap out of the Magic and you hold them. The defense doesn't look great, but they have a couple games where they blow teams out, so the defense looks better. I don't know. Can I do some of my topics, Jay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. So here's my topics. Have you heard of the certainties in life, Jay? There are certain things that are just certainties in life,
Like death and taxes.
Yeah, I have one more for you.
Okay.
Death, taxes, and a dumb offensive foul by Cat. Every goddamn game, he has to get at least one. Goddamn. Also, on a positive for Cat, I have to say, I did not know Sharman was this tough.
I keep hearing about how soft he is, and I haven't seen it.
He's not soft. He's just out of position. He's not the best defender, like protecting the rim, and like he's not amazing at team defense, but he's not soft.
He's not backing down against anybody. He's been anything but soft. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I know it came from Jimmy Butler, but maybe he was softer earlier in his career. He does not seem. He seems also like he is totally fine going into traffic, taking on defenders, like taking it to the rim over and over again, to the point I'm like, dude, we want you to stay healthy. Stop falling over.
He's also just totally bought into the whole New York thing. Like he looks happy to be here. He's popping the front of his jersey. Like
when he hit that 3 and he's just like effing New York. He's like New York. Like he was just like so happy to play for the Knicks.
Yeah. So,
I assume at some point he was like, "Yay, I'm a Timberwolf." But like he seems a lot happier now.
he does. It just seems like a good fit. Like everyone seems happy with him.
I do want at some point Mikal Bridges to teach Cat that sometimes you want to take a 10-foot jumper instead of going to the rim, and I want Cat to teach Mikal Bridges sometimes you want to take the ball to the rim.
Right.
They can just balance that shit out a little bit. It would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Other topics I wanted to go over with you, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
I had a new Clydism.
What was that?
I have a new Clydism.
Okay.
You know, like you know the Clydes, like posting and toasting and all his little
Swishing and dishing. Yep.
Swishing and his rhymes. I got one for her. Every time Cat has the ball and goes to the basket, we can say Cat getting mauled and I'm appalled.
There you go. I like it.
Dude gets mauled on every goddamn play, doesn't he?
He does. Well, welcome to New York, where you stop getting calls.
Yeah, I don't know if he got them in Minnesota, but you really do. Like, I feel like that. I remember Randall used to complain about this. I feel like when you're of a certain size, they let guys foul you.
Yeah.
They're like, it's fine. It's fine. What are they going to do? They have to foul you.
If you're smaller, a brush with a pinky is a foul. If you're bigger, you can just smack them.
Right. If you touch Steph Curry, like, God forbid, if you punch Towns in the stomach, let's see, did it hurt him?
It's weird. See, that's the thing that causes a lot of flopping, too.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to call it, he's going to start flopping, and that's why the league is the way it is right now.
I mean, I think the one if I had to do one rule change, I'm getting rid of like the 3-point line like bullshit. Like I know if the guy's in your landing area, you could hurt your foot, you're spraining your ankle. But you know, when guys are in your landing area by the rim, you could also do the same. Like just stop it. Like just let them guard the 3-point shot.
I'm even okay with the landing area. What I don't get is sometimes the shot goes off and then you touch the guy's hand and it's a foul, but sometimes they don't call that.
What if the shot goes off and Josh Hart brushes your hair?
I know,
Is that a
right?
foul to like lose the game?
Like that's the thing. Like under the rim, it's once the shot goes off, you could basically like smack the guy. I think it should be like that with jump shots too.
I'm fine with some contact, but you have to allow like the 3-point shooting is out of control.
Yeah.
If you were allowed to guard the 3-point shooter, like I don't like you're allowed to be in their landing area or whatever, then people would shoot less threes and maybe the game would be better.
Yeah. Yeah, Boston shot 56 threes the other day.
Boston is averaging 50 shot threes a game.
Is that fun?
Shooting 50, like, it's not good for the league. You have to allow defenses to cover the three. If defenses could guard the 3-point shot, you can't shoot as many. The game is a little better. Forget moving back the line. This would just let people guard the shots.
Yeah.
Also, as far as narratives that I think are dying, or should be put to bed, the narrative that Brunson can't get assists.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's averaging almost 8 assists a game.
Yeah. Career high.
He's got some nice passes, some nice like backdoor cuts. He's really his assists look pretty good.
The ball movement's been way better. So the Knicks hadn't had a season with more than 15 games of 29 assists since '94, and they're averaging 29 this season. So
say that again?
They haven't had more than 15 games in a season since 1994.
With 29 assists, and now they're averaging that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's some ball movement. There is some. Let's agree not to take a shot at Randall and just move on with discussion.
Yeah.
I mean the ball movement's great. I mean also, do you think when Towns retires he'll try to join the Globetrotters?
Well,
He loves those Globetrotter type passes.
oh yeah, yeah.
He really sometimes I'm like, thank you. Like the Knicks seem like they do some challenging passes sometimes where you're like throwing in the traffic and the ball gets turned over. But then at the end of the game, I'm like, oh, they didn't have that many turnovers.
If Bridges hit that 3 on that one crazy pass from Towns, that would have been like a season highlight.
That would have been ridiculous. I mean, as far as my favorite moments from last night, obviously Towns hitting that 3 and like him like with the jersey, that was awesome. Brunson with the 4-point play where he held his hand up in the air a little while, just appreciating, like almost White Man Can't Jump kind of shot.
Mm-hmm.
The block on RJ was pretty great. Those were some of the better moments. What did you think of RJ last night?
He was better than I was expecting.
He was pretty good.
Yeah, he was good.
Did you see his splits between home and road?
No, I haven't.
So apparently he's a really good shooter at home, and he's the RJ. He's RJ with the flu on the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's apparently he can't. Apparently it's not. It wasn't the Knicks. It's playing in America is not very good for RJ. If he's in Canada, his shots all go in.
I still think he's a good stats, bad team guy.
Well, they are. He's putting up good stats, and the team's bad.
Yeah, I know. I just some people seem to praise the guy like he's an all-star talent. I'm like, well, if he was that good, they would win games.
Well, they're just saying it's not part of the plan. Apparently, they're playing for another purpose besides winning games.
Right. They're rebuilding, even though they're capped out for next year too.
Well, Quickly's been out most of the season. You're going to get a high draft pick. I mean, like, I don't know. His shooting numbers aren't that different than they were in New York. I mean, last year, after the trade, he had these bonkers shooting numbers. He's shooting about 35% from 3, 46% from the field, a little higher from 2. His numbers aren't that different, actually, from New York.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's because, like you said, like I saw a couple. I was looking at box scores for a couple games, and it was like 5 for 16, 4 for 13.
He
like
mixes it up.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, that's the way he was in New York. It was hit or miss.
I mean, I see him getting more assists. Like, it's definitely a more free-flowing offense, so he can get more assists, and he's more the centerpiece, and blah, blah, blah. Good for him, though. I'm glad he's thriving there.
I mean, he got more assists, but it helps that they like don't. I guess they don't have a backup point guard for IQ.
Well, is it Grady Dick? I don't know who the backup point guard is.
I that's my point. Like they started Grady Dick, but he's not. He had 0 assists, so I don't think he was the point guard.
You're right. It's weird. Also, they're capped out for next season with this. Like, I guess Scotty Barnes, you got to give a big contract to. Scotty Barnes, I know he was rookie of the year. He hasn't been that amazing since. They gave a contract that like is justifiable quickly, but at the same time, you're like, is this what we're doing? RJ's got a big contract. Like,
it's almost like a Wizards team build. Their cap, well, if the cap estimates next year are 154 million, they're at 151, but that's without Bruce Brown or Boucher. So not a great cap situation.
Is Bruce Brown on that team now?
Yeah, he was the guy dressed like a cowboy, wasn't he?
Oh, okay, that was the cow. I didn't. I was like, who the hell is the cowboy? I didn't realize Brown.
I'm pretty sure that was Bruce Brown.
It might have been. I was really like, who the hell's the cowboy?
Yeah. Why is there a cowboy?
I was like, is that the guy that sings that song about Tipsy?
Yeah, that was Bruce Brown.
That was Bruce Brown. Okay,
Yeah.
He's dressed like that guy. Like, what's the guy's name that sings Tipsy?
I don't know.
Country rock song. You've heard it on the radio, right?
Probably, yeah.
He's like, it's that line about me and JD have a history. Me and Jack Daniels have a history.
Okay.
Shabuzi.
Maybe I haven't heard it.
Okay, whatever. If you put it on, you'll probably have heard it. So I did want to. I did have a bunch of things I wanted to go over after the Knicks lost to the Pistons. Or topics I wanted to cover. Just out of anger. Can I read my list of angry topics?
Sure.
So I'm here my angry topics after the Piston game. If we recorded right after, it would have made more sense. But hey, Knicks legends, come watch us embarrass ourselves against the Pistons. Fake comeback fever. And a bunch of legends, a bunch of like old timers at the game. It was kind of embarrassing. I wanted to commend the Pistons at defending the free throw line. I was also going to ask you, what was a bigger con job? The Hawk to a coin, or the narrative that Mikal Bridges is good at defense?
He has the best plus minus
On the team?
I think so. It's either over the last 10 games or so, or it's on the team. I forget, but like his plus minus has been pretty insane. I think it's for the season.
Has he subbed out this season?
I think there was a game like 3 or 4 games ago where he took a quick breather. They let him take a sip of water.
How does Thibs just decide these guys just like I'm just not gonna sit these guys? It was the game. What was the game against the Magic? One of the games where they had a blowout, and he didn't sit. Or maybe it was in Charlotte.
Charlotte.
He didn't sit until 47 minutes, until the 46 and 30s, a minute and a half to go of the game. The game has never been close, and he played almost the entire game.
47
like
minutes. It's like absurd.
It was so ridiculous. Like he subbed them out. You're like, well, now just let him finish the game. Who cares anymore?
I know. That's like what my high school coach used to do. Hey, you want to go in with 40 seconds left? I'm like, no. Why would I want to?
Really, I was like, they're walking on the floor anyway. Just let him finish the game.
Right.
Also, I was kind of mad at Bridges during that game because he sucked during that game. I was going to ask, does Bridges know you're allowed to set your feet before you shoot a three? The Knicks, I made a point. The Knicks really helped Cat out tonight by showing that it's not Cat's fault the defense sucks, because when he wasn't playing, the defense still sucked.
What do you think of? Oh, go ahead.
I'm almost done, Jay. I have 2 more to go.
Okay.
And then I'll like. I was going to ask you, Jay. Do you you're into music? Are you familiar with the Pretenders?
Yeah.
Did you know the band was named after? They got their name while watching this Knicks team play.
Yeah, you were really salty.
I really was annoyed. I spent a fortune. The team kind of sucked. I was just angry. And the last one, I was hoping that Knicks would replace that. The Abu Dhabi thing, Abu Dhabi experience they have on their advertisement they have in the uniform.
Yeah.
I was hoping they'd replace that with a sponsorship from Waste Management, so they can like see like a garbage truck on their uniform, and they can look down every game and see what their their transition defense looks like?
I'm gonna have to check in on you after Knicks' losses going forward. Very brutal.
I was like, what the hell? Like the whole game, they looked terrible. By the way, their transition defense sucks. Like they won last night, but the transition defense has been garbage this whole season.
Yeah.
So, like, do they know you're allowed to cover guys on transition? That everyone should take someone?
Well, on the plus side, it's tournament time. You know, I love the in-season tournament, and we have the quarterfinals tomorrow. And
Knicks versus the Hawks for the quarterfinals. This is, by the way, if you had given me a half hour, I wouldn't have guessed which round it was.
There's no indication like anywhere. It's just like a game pops up on the schedule. Like,
I have no idea who the other 6 teams are. I'm assuming the quarterfinals. Is that like quarterfinals total? Like there are only 8 teams left in it, or 8 teams in the East?
Yeah, I think there's 4 teams in each conference left.
They're down to 8 teams?
I think so.
When did teams get eliminated? When did they have the last round?
I think the first quarterfinal game is today. I think it's Orlando-Milwaukee.
But how are we down to? If it's the quarterfinals, we're assuming that like it's down to like 8 teams, right?
They don't explain any of it. They're just like, oh yeah, it's the cup playoffs now. Like, we missed the seeding or who got eliminated or how. Like, it made no sense.
When they introduced this idea, I figured it would be like there'd be a 2-week break of the season where they play the whole tournament straight.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it's like, did you know you're watching a tournament game tonight? You're like, no, how would I know that? Look, the floor, it looks ugly. Oh, I guess
yeah, pretty much.
Know floors. That's how you know.
Yeah, so the cup games, I believe, are today and tomorrow. And then Thursday and Friday are regular games, and then Saturday is cup games again.
Is Saturday be the semifinals or the finals?
I think it's the semifinals.
So that'd be 4 teams, and then when's the finals?
Who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
The finals, they're like, it's on March 12th. Why? Because none of this shit matters.
Because nobody knows. It'll just be a game like a week and a half from now. They'll be like, yeah, that was the cup finals.
Yeah, there was what was it? Well, they have that. Isn't the cup finals like the one extra game that does not count for the schedule?
Yes.
Where your stats just magically don't count, like nothing matters.
Yes. So it makes it even better.
Yeah, makes it good for fantasy. Dude, did it count for fantasy?
I don't know. All I know is that because they have to feature these cup games and there's hardly any games this week, they combined last week and this week, which gives us one less matchup for Fantasy League. And also, since it's like 1.5 weeks put together, the whole league's all-time stats are all going to be like this week.
Are the semis also in Vegas also?
I think so, yeah. So the finals...
Your team loses a home game, plus they have to play an extra tough game in the schedule.
Yeah.
Like last year, they were like, Knicks, you're doing so well. You have an extra game against Milwaukee and Boston. Why? Why do you have to play them?
So the finals is Tuesday. A week from today.
Of being in the tournament?
I would love it if Thibs just was like, yeah, we're in the finals. I'm starting Huck Porty and Kolek and...
Well, the problem is that Thibs would be like, yeah, I played everyone tonight. We had to win it all, and you'd be like, it was game 3 of the preseason tournament, preseason, whatever. We're going for it, every night.
I don't know if somebody tells him the game doesn't count, he might just be like, yeah, we're just Jacob Toppin, just him, 1-on-5.
It would be great. You're right. If it was the actual finals, where the game literally doesn't count for anything besides that, and you're like, okay, we're starting the G League affiliate. We're not even going.
Yeah, call them all up.
Oh, you want us to play an extra game when guys can get injured? That's great.
I can't wait till after next Tuesday when we just can not talk about the stupid tournament anymore.
I think teams should allowed to, instead of playing games, they should allow to like vote on who goes to the finals. Just because I want to see Embiid be out for the season from the finals game.
So
Embiid's like, I barely play for this team anymore. But if it's the Cup Finals or the Olympics, I'll go on the court and risk an injury.
right, he did show up for a game a couple days ago, though.
Yeah, I think they won also.
Yeah, it was nice of him to show up for a game.
Nice of him to play. Is he back now or is he?
Who knows? It's like the in-season tournament. You don't know. He might be back. He might not.
Will this in-season tournament last?
I think it will, unfortunately.
You think so? I feel like they're going to be like, you know what's going to be great? They're going to be like, we have to do more to drum up. Like, we have to like this is the All-Star game. Like, they try to make it more entertaining because like, people don't really give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
They'll be like, my God, I mean, like, we have to go back to how it was a year and a half ago. We have to figure this out. And they'll keep changing it. Like, when they realize fans just don't care at all.
What needs to happen is Saturday. Nobody should watch those 2 games on Saturday, and definitely not next Tuesday.
Definitely not.
Just don't watch those 3 games, and the tournament will be gone.
How could they improve the tournament?
By not having it. That's a huge improvement.
Wouldn't it be better at least if they had it all like in a short period of time, like a week?
Or explained it.
I don't want to. I don't need to explain. Just play the play.
I don't know who's in it.
Consecutive games.
They don't tell you who
teams in the NBA get to be in it. I guess
they don't tell you who's in it, when the games are. Like, you just one day you turn on the TV and the court, like you said, the court is ugly, and that's how you know. That's the only indication. I don't even think like anybody knows, because ESPN doesn't seem to like have any information on it.
But if you broadcast a game, you have to be like, oh wow, the fans are really into this. Is really working out. You have to like go the company line.
They must have.
Oh wow,
yeah.
This has made basketball. Look how hard the players are playing. This is great.
Mike Breen mentioned the tournament like 45 times last tournament game, and I'm like, there's no way he's that into that.
Yeah, the last time I mean, he mentioned it more than Clyde used to mention like Clyde's Wine and Dine.
Yeah.
Which I guess closed because I realized I don't hear anything more about Clyde's Wine and Dine.
Did it?
It used to. Well, do you hear him mentioning it anymore?
I don't.
It has to be closed because he used to like mention at least twice every game. It had to be in his contract. Is it? Are you looking it up?
I am. I'm trying to find out if it's.
I'm pretty sure it's closed because like he literally would mention it every game.
It is closed.
Okay.
I didn't even get to go.
I mean, we could have gone. It was open for many years. We just never went.
It was open for like 6 years, and we just never went.
I do remember once seeing it, like it was during the day, and it was kind of like a out of the way location.
Yeah, it's on 10th Ave, which is near
Yeah.
like nothing.
Like it should like just give him a spot. Like if it was right by MSG, that place would have been packed.
Oh, it was open for 9 years. We really suck.
Whatever. By the way, I texted this to you, but I want to mention on the show. I have solved, because I don't think you really gave me enough credit when I told you this idea.
Mm-hmm.
I have solved tanking. I have completely solved it. It is the greatest idea. I am building on your idea. Your idea was to flatten the odds, so every team that doesn't make the playoffs has the same odds for the number 1 pick, which is reasonable, right?
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to make the odds perfectly flat, the way to solve it is that the team with the worst record automatically doesn't get the pick. Automatically picks 5th or later.
Okay, so people are trying to get wins at the bottom of the standings.
Right, because you can get the number 1 pick up to like the worst record, and the worst record is penalized. Maybe make the worst record pick number 10th. Make it a really bad penalty. That way you've had the worst season in team history, and you're only getting to pick 10th in the draft. Make that kind of penalty. And then you can only tank so much because you still have to win more games than the worst team.
I think the 10th is a little harsh, but I like where you're going with that.
Okay, 5th. Like they should not get a top 3 pick or even top 4 pick if you have the worst record. You don't have to be quite that bad, and that way you really are trying.
My idea for fixing tanking was flatten the odds for every team not in the play-in tournament, so that way you don't have people tanking out of the playoffs.
Yeah, and I get you. Then you don't really have to tank for the worst record. But wouldn't it be great if like you were playing just to like avoid the worst record? Like it was that bad if you got the worst record.
Yeah. I mean, that would be exciting if you have like a Wizards Jazz game, like game 80, and they're both going balls out trying to win.
Wizards Jazz, everyone's playing 48 straight minutes. They're like, we're going all in. We need to win this game.
Yeah.
Maybe they could fire the coach. If the coach of the worst record also ultimately gets fired on that game. So you really have a lot. You're like I'm sorry, Jazz. Like your league rules dictate your coach is fired. Really make the penalty bad so like no one wants the worst record.
Yeah, I mean, I do think they reward the bad teams a little too much. Like the Wizards might get a generational talent now because they maxed out like Poole and Kuzma. Like,
Okay, how about
they shouldn't
this?
get rewarded for that.
The Wizards have the worst record. They have to move to Seattle.
I mean, that's,
Like we just relocate the team with the worst record every year.
relegate them to the G League.
No, I mean just relocate. Like the city loses the team.
You can't even have a team.
The
in your
fans
city.
are out there. Holy crap! I've been coming to this stadium for 20 years. If you guys lose tonight, you don't play on this side of the country anymore. Okay, so going back to the Knicks, Jay, and going back to what we saw this week, how are you feeling about the defense?
I'm feeling a little better.
And Precious is back, by the way. You were saying one or two things have to happen, and Precious is back now.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Thibs saw Sims try to dribble at the Pistons game I was at, and Thibs was like, "Screw it, okay, Sims, just get the hell out of here."
Sims played the first 6 minutes.
6 minutes, and then touched the floor again.
He was in -9, and Thibs is like, "That's it."
He at some point tried to dribble. He looked like if what I would look like trying to dribble in the NBA. He looked like that, and Thibs was like, "Okay, this is just too much."
Not only was Thibs like, "That's it for the game," he's like, "That's it forever," because he didn't play last night either.
No, he's just like, okay, Precious is so much better. Simmons is not. I saw someone on Twitter make a comment, and I'm just trying to paraphrase it. I should have copied this tweet, or a screenshot, but it was something along the lines of every moment that Jericho Sims does not play professional volleyball is a loss to the world. You'd be the greatest professional volleyball player ever.
That would be amazing to see.
That's just like he just like is like I'm switching sports.
Yeah. So, yeah,
By
at
the way,
least.
Josh, did you see the Josh Hart quote from last night? Which I thought was great.
Is that the one I sent you?
No, a different one.
No.
Josh Hart said, where I have it? He said on the second half, Jalen Brunson kept just saying, "I want Dick. I'll take Dick."
Hart's so funny.
He's really funny.
Yeah, so Thibs trusts Precious. So it looks like there's actually 3 bench players that Thibs trusts now.
Yes, he trusts Campaign, obviously Deuce, and
Precious.
Precious.
And he trusts Mitch. So when Mitch comes back, there'll actually be a 9-man rotation.
Again, I don't think there'll be a 9-man. Like I just don't think you can. Again, I think it's a situation where certain guys can't be on the floor with each other. But yes,
He had a 9-man rotation last season.
yeah. I mean, he says he likes the 9-man rotation. I still think we need one more guy on the bench who could score. And he's playing in Westchester right now. I don't know why he's still playing in Westchester, TJ Warren.
I think he just had a 30-point game over there.
He does that on a nightly basis, and he's been playing great. He's already proven he can score in the NBA. He's 6'8", can shoot them threes. How can his defense be that bad? You can't bring him up?
I mean, I'd like to see them try.
I mean, he's 31, so he's not like part of the future. But like, there are some nights you might need some offensive help from the bench.
But he plays the position that they need a backup for.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, really. Like you need another big. You need another like you could use a power forward or small forward, whatever position he plays. You could use that out there.
Yeah. So I'd like to see that. There's rumors that the Pelicans are on the verge of blowing everything up, which I can't believe.
Jay, your trade is not happening, but tell everyone what trade you want.
I can't believe that maxing out Zion didn't work out. It's shocking.
Zion, they said they were talking about maxing out, and he's like, "I'll max out my waistband." They're like, "No, the salary and the money, not what you're eating."
He's like, "Why can't it be both?"
Zion, when's he coming back?
It's just like the tournament; nobody knows. There's like some of these guys are just indefinite.
Another penalty, Jack. The team with the worst record automatically gets Zion's contract.
You'd say like that'll only work through his contract. There's always a guy like that.
Always, yeah. Like that's like you just take the worst contract in the NBA and move him to the worst team.
Some teams strategically like just sign a really bad contract to screw another team.
Oh, you don't think we'll re-sign Ben Simmons? Wizards, watch out.
Yeah. $80 million a year for Ben Simmons.
That would just we would make the NBA so much more fun.
We would. So yeah, I mean, if the Pelicans are blowing it up, I want Herb Jones, but I don't. Mitch is the only trade.
Why in God's name would they do? So Mitch doesn't stay healthy. I know Herb Jones is injured now, but he generally stays healthier. He's a fantastic defensive player, not a center, but like if Mitch had a history of being healthy, I could kind of see where this trade's coming from. But then no one's trading for Mitch with his health history.
Mitch's health history is overblown, I think.
Really? Because he's injured almost every season.
I mean, this is his game log. 66, 61, 31, 72, 59. It's not that bad. I skipped last year because it was 31. But
Okay. I thought you left something out there. Yeah, he's injured every goddamn season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But beyond that, like he got injured after his injury last year. Like he was injured last season, came back, and he's out this season from an injury from like he's always injured.
Right, but if you're blowing the team up,
what are they doing? What they have some good players. They have Herb Jones. They have Brandon Ingram. What are they doing?
Well, Ingram's out for a while. McCollum's old. Zion is Zion. I mean,
they missed the window on trading Zion.
Yeah, they did. They're 5-20. They're almost eliminated from the playoffs already. Like,
but if they have the worst record, then they're going to leave New Orleans.
So I mean, the only reason I say that is because you get off. I don't know if you want to get off of it, but he has Mitch has one less year on his contract than Jones. Yeah.
Why are they like Herb Jones is maybe one of the few good guys you want to keep on the team? Maybe
he's too good. Maybe they want to bottom out.
He's too good for us.
Yeah.
Their GM just calls Leon Rose. I have to let the cage bird fly free. We'll give you Herb Jones.
I mean, maybe they just go the nuclear option and trade everybody.
We don't have draft picks to trade him.
No, it would. The Knicks could trade like one draft pick, right?
I think for the rest of the time, yes. I think they have one left.
Start digging into the 2030 treasure troves.
You can only trade so many years out. You can't even trade. I think more than 6 years out.
Yeah, it's not great.
Because wouldn't that be amazing if you could? Because if you could trade more than 6 years out, the Knicks wouldn't have a draft pick for after 2050. During those like Eddie Curry years, like when Isaiah Thomas was in charge, he would have traded every draft pick we had left for the second half of the century.
Yeah. The Knicks still have their garbage, heavily protected picks. They have the Detroit top 13 protected and the Washington top 10 protected for next year.
Is that Detroit one a first rounder or a second
rounder?
Oh, the Detroit one, they have a first rounder from Detroit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although they're actually winning enough games where top 13 is like they might get like the 14th or 15th.
Okay, we have some questions. Michael writes on Facebook or Twitter. Sorry, would RJ be an awesome sixth man on this Knicks team?
He would be a sixth man on this team. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
Him as a sixth man might be really good.
Right. I mean, like the sixth man, you're not requiring as much defense. Like his defense is still not great, but you're not requiring as much defense. You just want a guy who could take the ball and score. RJ could be an interesting sixth man.
Yeah, because like he's not good as like the featured guy on the team. But if he was a sixth man, I think, or seventh man, McBride's probably the sixth man. But yeah,
I think RJ might be able to supplant. I mean, I guess you obviously like McBride's defense, but like RJ. You want one guy on the bench who's just up for running. RJ's up for running. He's up for like fast breaks.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be an interesting sixth man. I don't know. I do wonder if like how you do in a part-time role. I mean, I guess it seems like he has to have the ball a lot to be successful. But maybe in a more limited maybe he can become like a Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, I'm just those away games can be a little rough.
I love he can't play in America. Well, in Canada, holy crap, he's Michael Jordan. Who would you rather have back right now as a sixth man, Emmanuel Quickly or RJ?
I like Quickly better, but he's too redundant with McBride and Payne now,
And Payne.
so I would say RJ.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, a fair thing to say. Brady writes, Brady Schaefer writes, is our defensive effort concerning you? Bad loss to Detroit, a struggle to win over Toronto, and we are in a slump or just bad stroke of luck. Confidence level heading final stages of NBA Cup all the way.
I think
Who gives a crap about the NBA Cup, obviously, but
well, maybe he does, but we don't. I don't know if their effort on defense is really bad. I just think they're maybe just not communicating well enough. It seems like there's a lot of missed rotations and just...
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, I don't think their defense is as bad as we've seen. Like, they have some really good defenders there. They shouldn't be this bad. I think it's more just like an adjustment and getting to know people. And I don't expect them to be good, but I expect them to be in the, like, 12 to 15 range by the season end.
That would be a huge improvement from where they are. So last night, so OG had that big block on RJ towards the end of the game that was huge, but OG also had the chance to get that block because Cat held strong at the rim to kind of hold RJ up to basically give OG a chance to get back into play.
Yeah,
they're doing some things like I think they're adapting. I guess Thibs is adapting his defense. Cat is learning the system more. He doesn't look quite as lost as he looked to begin the season.
Yeah.
OG is putting up all otherworldly numbers. He could be up there for Defensive Player of the Year. Every game he gets steals, he gets blocks. He's been awesome. Bridges, in Detroit game he looked terrible. Some games he looks okay in defense. He's not the defensive player I was led to believe he'd be, but he's getting better. Brunson's never going to be amazing on defense, but Precious allows them to switch. It's a work in progress. They're overcompensating for Cat in the center. The guys are always kind of open overcompensating to help out in the paint. I don't know. Thibs never covers the 3-point line also that hard. He just assumes guys are going to miss threes.
Yeah. Like I said, it's. I don't think it's going to be great with this roster. Although, who knows? Because if Mitch comes back and they move Towns to the 4, you might just recreate what was going on in Minnesota, and they had the best defense last year. So
I don't know if they're going to move. I agree with Mitch being at the 5 and capping at the 4, the better option. I don't know what they're going to do, but either way, he's going to find a way to play Mitch out there. So the defense has to look a little better.
I think it will.
I think the defense by second half of the season, which is not 20-game mark, but well into the season, we'll start seeing the defense really kind of gel more.
Yeah, I'm mildly concerned. I'm not very concerned.
Yeah, the offense looks. This is the best offense we've seen since we started doing the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we're heading into All-Star break and we're still talking about letting up a ton of points to Hornets team missing 7 guys, then I'll be worried. But right now I feel like it's still a feeling out phase.
Anthony writes, Jalen and Cat, best duo in the NBA, and are you guys afraid of OG and Bridges playing too many minutes? Okay, so Jalen and Cat, best duo in the NBA. I like Jalen. I like Cat. They're awesome. I believe you have to unseat Tatum and Brown before you call Brunson and Cat the best duo.
Top 3?
Okay, well, so in no order, but we both agree that that Tatum, Brown, they're better. Okay, who else we got? Steph, Draymond?
No.
Well, Steph's awesome. Draymond, yeah. Okay, fine. Who else?
At this point, you'd probably be closer saying Steph Kuminga.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Draymond isn't even starting anymore.
Oh, is he not?
No.
Okay.
That started 2 games ago.
Okay. Who else is ahead of him? Milwaukee, I was like, Giannis and Dame, no. I like this duo better.
Yeah.
Durant, Booker, I like this duo better. But Durant's obviously awesome, but like I like this duo better. Who else you got?
Jokic and Jokic.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, you're like Jokic and I guess Jokic loses because he doesn't have a teammate.
Right. Who would you pick? Like Murray doesn't look that good. Gordon, I guess.
I guess Corey. You have to put Murray basically. Who else you got? There's
It's really not a lot. That's what I'd say. Top three. I mean, I picked two guys from Cleveland.
Paolo and Wagner are the best duo on the duo who are not playing basketball right now.
Better than Embiid, Paul George.
Yes. Yeah.
Shea,
I guess
Shea Chet.
Yeah, well, I guess or Shea, Jalen Williams.
Yeah. Top three. Top three.
Top three seems reasonable. They are really, I mean, so Towns is not Patrick Ewing on defense. Obviously, like it couldn't be any further from Patrick Ewing on defense.
Mm-hmm.
But was Patrick Ewing even that much better on offense?
I'm just thinking like,
I mean,
Ewing had obviously a better mid range, but Towns
could have a mid range. He just doesn't do it.
But Towns also has a 3-point shot, which Pat didn't have.
And Pat probably would have if people were shooting three. Like he probably could have stepped back like the way Brook Lopez did. I think Patrick Ewing could have been a decent 3-point shooter if the league was that way.
Could be. I mean, he did go pretty far. He was almost at the base, the sidelines.
Like, don't you? Yeah, I mean, he shot from a distance. Like, don't you feel like if he was in today's league, Patrick Ewing would have just been I mean, like obviously he would have played inside also, but he could have had that. He could have been like a Brook Lopez.
Well, I mean, his patented thing was the turnaround at the sideline, but he was like 1 foot in from the 3-point line.
Right, because guys just don't like. No big was shooting threes then. No one like expected. Like it was just like, it just didn't make sense at that time. Whereas now, like, he would have done that.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, forgetting that I don't want to disrespect Patrick Ewing, who's amazing, but holy crap, Towns is pretty awesome on offense.
Yeah. Yeah, like
even
really.
like I think in the Toronto game, I was like, at some point I was like, why isn't he doing more tonight? And then he like at the end of the game, I was like, oh, okay, well he stepped up.
He's exceeded any sort of expectation I had for him.
Yeah. I do wonder, like, is he just more excited to be here than he was in Minnesota? Like, he seems pretty excited to be here.
It could be. I mean, sometimes just a new situation where you're happier makes you play better.
I mean, he really seems to like have embraced playing in New York.
Yeah.
Maybe he was. I didn't want to watch enough Minnesota games, but I don't know. Like, was he like Mr. Happy Camper in Minnesota?
I'm not sure. A lot of people seem to not like Gobert.
Yeah.
Like personally, like not just like his play style. Like he seems
not because
like
he like tried to give everyone COVID at the beginning of COVID.
people just seem to not like him. So I don't know. Maybe it's more fun now.
I don't know. But yeah, he seems to have embraced being in New York. It seems fun. Also minutes. Are you worried about OG and Mikal Bridges?
Yeah,
I am definitely worried about
those
guys.
100%.
Like I think Thibs is determined to break Bridges' consecutive game streak.
It seems unnecessary to play them that many minutes.
I'm assuming Tibbs' theory behind this is that there's so many TV timeouts, and like so many breaks in the action because they have to review a play for a half hour. He's like, yeah, these guys aren't so tired because they're standing around half the time anyway.
Either that, or he's like, these guys are going to be in such ridiculous shape that when playoff time comes, they're just going to run circles around everybody else.
It's like, I realized from last year, the lesson I learned is that guys weren't playing enough minutes going into the playoffs. Everyone would have been healthier if they were playing 40 minutes a game.
Or you know what? Like, the Knicks had so many injuries last year that weren't minutes related. He was probably like, fuck it. Look, I used the normal minutes rotation. Everybody got injured, so fuck it. Now I'm just going to play like a ton of minutes.
I do like their Tibbs' new approach to resting Brunson in the fourth quarter. Like going into every fourth quarter, he's like, "Get injured, okay? You're not playing anymore."
Yeah, a lot of close calls.
Fan like foot. He got his back was hurting the other night. Like,
yeah, I was when I saw him look like he rolled an ankle. I was like, if that's serious, like the season's over already. So,
someone is going to get injured. One of their major players is going to miss a stretch, not because it's just like that happens. A guy will be gone for a few weeks. I wonder how this team will survive when they're missing one of their key players.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be
Because they
interesting.
really don't have the depth unless they start playing the rookies.
Right. Well, they would have to. I mean, we saw when Towns was out, Huck Porty played like 20 minutes.
Also, Huck Porty, Sims one day will be hopefully as good as the rookie.
Huck Porty does look better than Sims.
I mean, it's not even close. I mean, I maybe Sims is better on defense. They were like, what was that stat? Like he's like one of the best rim protectors.
Yeah.
Which just makes that stat be like, oh, I guess the stat's not accurate.
I think teams are shooting like 26% against him at the rim or something, but
yeah, but
sample size.
All that means sample size or maybe the stats. Maybe you need to rethink the stat if like Sims is like your best defender at the rim.
I think it's more just a sample size thing.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. So Knicks, they beat Orlando. They had a good week. They were 3-1. I'm a little frustrated, even though they had a good week, because they went to the one game they lost. And I'm also not. How confident are you about this team right now?
I would say I'm like a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I was like they're going to win the championship before the season started. I
don't feel that way right now.
I'm not there right now.
No, I feel like I am not looking at a team. I'm like, they're winning games against teams that are not that great, with a few good games like against like Orlando. My confidence isn't there yet.
No, but I mean, it can get there.
Let's check it out our under overs. Let's do it every other episode. You want to do that?
Yes, I just wanted to check in. The Knicks are playing the Hawks and then Minnesota, which should be a fun one.
Oh, that's good.
That's
well. Also, isn't there if they advance? Is Minnesota part of the tournament?
No. So Atlanta is, Minnesota's not.
Well, Minnesota's on Friday.
Oh no! You know what? I looked. There's a week between those two games. So the Knicks are playing
close to Christmas. Yeah.
The Knicks are playing the Hawks tomorrow, and then maybe they'll be playing Saturday, and maybe they'll be playing Tuesday.
Yeah, it depends on what happens in the tournament. So they got Atlanta, and then there's basically 8 days between Atlanta and the Minnesota game. They may have 2 games in between that.
This is so stupid. So we can't even. Okay, they're gonna win.
Okay, so they should beat Atlanta, but if they don't beat Atlanta, they have a break.
Maybe, or maybe they don't.
If you lose to Atlanta, you have a week off.
I don't know. I don't know. I think so. I think if they lose to Atlanta, maybe they just want to take a knee and have a week off and relax. I don't know.
I mean, the tournament also like does anyone care? Like, do the Lakers even admit to like caring about it? Like we won it last year. But like LeBron was like, yeah, this tournament's stupid. And then he won it last year. He was the first team. He was the first team to win it, and he said it's kind of stupid.
All right, so I'm going to go 1-0 and potentially 2-1, depending on who they play.
You know, it would almost be annoying if the Knicks win the tournament, because then you'd be like, we have to pretend it matters, and like people are gonna if the Knicks win the tournament, people are gonna like just spend hours like basically trolling the Knicks for winning. Like, oh, you haven't won anything in the NBA since 1973, but wow, you won this meaningless tournament.
Yep, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Basically, all we'll hear about is how, like, and then Knicks fans who are like, it doesn't matter, like, being like, oh, cool, we should celebrate. And then people will, like, be like, well, wasn't this you last week saying it didn't matter? Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's check in. How do you think we're doing on our, I think we're doing terrible on our
well, let's see. We'll check in and see. So the first one is we had under on the Clippers at 35.5. Feeling pretty bad about that one.
They're 14-11. They're playing pretty well. Do you know James Harden said that he has concentrated on getting more sleep, and that's led him to be better this season.
Well, they've lost the last 2, and
do you think he got a CPAP?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't feel great about that one anymore.
No, I wouldn't feel great about that one either.
Portland over 22.5.
Portland is 8-16.
They haven't won since last episode.
They don't look very good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Portland's doing, but besides losing. We're not looking good on that one either.
No, not great. Grizzlies under 47.5.
Grizzlies, one of the best records in the NBA. We're screwed.
Okay, so we're
17-8. They're playing pretty darn well.
Knicks over 54.5.
Okay, let's move on. I mean, the Knicks are 15-9, so it's not like crazy, but like that's 54 wins is a tough. Okay, go on.
Philly under 48.5. All right, we're on the board.
We should have bet our entire life savings on that one. Philly is 7-15. They are no longer the worst team, and the Wizards have 3 wins.
And they won like 2 games ago. They were 2-18, I think.
There really should be a punishment for the worst record in the NBA.
Yeah, I know.
They're
You're gonna
really,
reward them with like Cooper Flag, like it
doesn't.
stupid.
Just make them pick 5th and be like, if you want Cooper Flag, you have to be the 2nd worst team in the NBA. Figure that out.
Yeah, exactly. You have to.
Like you don't even have to flatten the odds. Just make the worst record the 5th pick, and that will encourage teams to actually compete.
Like
okay, what's next?
Hornets under 30.5.
The Hornets have 7 wins. They look terrible, and LaMelo Ball hasn't missed like half the season yet.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about that one.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have Timberwolves over 52.5.
Okay, so Timberwolves are back over 500, barely.
Mm-hmm.
Not feeling great about that one, though.
No. And Mavericks over 49.5.
The Mavericks are 6. You said over? Yeah, they're 16-8. They're looking pretty good.
Yeah, they've won 7 in a row, longest streak in the league. Feeling a lot better about that one.
So, who are the most surprising in the East and the West? Who would you say? Who's the most surprising team in the East? The most surprising team in the East is obviously Cleveland, right?
Yeah, I mean, I expected them to be good, but starting off 16-0, that's
okay.
Pretty impressive.
I want to do most surprising team, best, most surprising worst team, or most surprisingly bad, most surprisingly good in each conference.
Okay.
Jay, I sent you this note during the week. I definitely just bring this on you just now. But I was looking at the record. I mean, Cleveland's obviously the most surprising for being good.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is the most surprising for being bad in the Eastern Conference? Is it? I guess it's Philly, right?
I
It kind
don't
of
know.
has to be. Like Philly, you thought would be pretty good. Like you didn't think they'd be 7-15.
Yeah. I mean, I figured injuries would be a factor, but not this big of a factor.
Yeah, this has been like dramatic.
I would give an honorable mention to Indiana, but they also got a lot of injuries.
Yeah, they're surprisingly. I mean, they look really. I thought they were about to step it up this year.
Yeah, but they got a lot of injuries too.
Also, their main play, no longer their main guy is no longer very good.
Yeah. So Pacers are 10-15 and Detroit's 10-15, and I would give one of them surprisingly bad and one of them surprisingly good, even though they have the same record. Because Pistons, I didn't think would get anywhere near 10-15.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point. Have you looked at Tyrese Halliburton's stats this year?
I looked at it about a week ago, and they were really, really bad.
I'm going to read your stats from last season before I read you this season's stats, just for the viewer at home, their listener at home. So last year, he averaged 20 points a game. He shot 47% from the field, 36% from 3, and he had almost 11 assists a game. This year, he's shooting 42%, 33%. I guess he has 17 points a game. Like, his numbers are all down a lot. I think they were worse last time I looked. Why is he so bad?
I think he's playing with some nagging back injury or something. He's playing, but he's playing hurt. And I feel like at some point you're better off resting for a week or two to instead of just playing like that.
He's also even down 2 assists a game.
Remember when Harden was playing with one leg and he could just walk? And you're probably better off just not doing that. Yeah.
Okay, going to the West. Who is the most surprisingly good team?
Either I'm gonna say either Houston or Memphis.
It's got to be Memphis.
I think we just forgot because they had like 9 injured guys last season, so it's been like 2 years since we saw a Memphis team. We just forgot that they were actually good.
Though I gotta say, so Memphis is plus of injury. I might want to give the edge to Houston. I know Houston was like decent last year, but they're playing really well this year.
Yeah, I thought they would be decent,
They'd be
but not
good,
like,
but like they're better than expected.
Yeah. Surprisingly bad is super easy for me.
Okay, who are you taking?
Kings.
The wait before you even say it, the Phoenix Suns.
No, Kings.
Kings. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You had said you were before the show when we did the season preview. You were like, "Well, they're a great regular season game team."
Yeah, they're not
I guess
even...
not this season.
No. So yeah, Phoenix. They're not that surprising to me because they have 3 guys and 2 of them are very injury prone. So it's kind of like the Philly recipe.
I'll give you another one for surprisingly bad. And they're over 500, but the Denver Nuggets, 12-10.
Yeah. And I'm actually surprised
pretty-
at how bad New Orleans is too.
Well, New Orleans has like a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
So I mean, in fairness, like
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Philly does also, but yeah, they're really bad also. Yeah, they're surprising.
Nuggets are pretty healthy and still not very good. So I'd be very concerned if I was a Nuggets fan.
The Nuggets are playing better as of late. They started off worse, and they're getting like they were under 500 for a while. They're playing better lately. It's just
I mean,
so they don't.
Jokic had
they're competing for the
50.
finals.
Jokic had 56, 16, and 8, and they lost.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
What's even crazier is that he scored like 48 points the very next night. It was like 48, 14, and 8.
He really wants that narrative of he has no help. He's like, I'm just going to score every point just to prove to the league I'm not getting help. I don't have enough help here.
I'd be so mad. It's like,
People
what
also
do I
like-
have
people-
to do?
People are online are like this whole narrative like the Nuggets are wasting Jokic's career. Like, what are you doing to him? How can you do this? They should trade him. I'm like, didn't they win a title 2 years ago? Like, back off.
Yeah. Yeah, there used to be like a grace period after you won. Now it's just like they got to blow it up. It's been like 12 months since they won a championship.
Yeah, like I mean, if they're not in the title right now, in the championship right now, you got to blow it up. Well, it's not even in the finals yet. Well, it doesn't matter.
I'm seeing people say that the above 500 Lakers need to blow it up too.
Well, Lakers don't look that great either. But I mean, doesn't it seem like where are the Lakers going? Are the Lakers going to win it?
I guess that's the point. Like they're going to be in the play-in and probably a first round thrashing again. But like, how many assets are you giving up for a 40-year-old LeBron?
Yeah, I mean,
Is it
like,
none or is it zero? Like,
right? What the only teams that have? If you're a bad team, it makes no sense. If you're a good team, you can't get him under the cap. Like, what good team has an asset that would make sense to swap for him?
yeah, I don't see how
He gets $40 million unless the Lakers buy him out. He can't join a good team.
Right. Yeah, he's making $48 million this year. So good luck trying to match that salary.
I mean, you could match it with like Bradley Beal, but then he would just like then people would be like, well, the Suns aren't going anywhere.
Right. And why would the Lakers do that? Because LeBron's
Right,
better
so
than
is it-
Beal. So
Right. What scenario? Like the Knicks don't have the cap space to trade. Like the Heat, but like are the Heat like so much better than the Lakers are now with LeBron?
are they even better if you swap like him and Butler, and then you'd have to add somebody? It'd be like Butler and
Right. You can't swap them for good like it's so like the Bucks. Yeah, you could swap LeBron for Dame, but why would the Lakers do it? Why would the Lakers unless the Bucks are giving every draft pick possible for him also?
Yeah, I don't know.
And they've already traded all the draft picks to get Dame.
And I don't know how much like Davis is awesome, but his injury history is a little worrying. I don't know. He's in his 30s now. Are you giving up a ton for him?
I mean, Davis, you can still get something for him, but really, like, are bad teams gonna like the question? Are bad teams gonna give up a lot for him?
I mean, his extension kicks in next year.
OKC, they've got the draft picks.
They got the picks. I don't know if they have the space. I don't think that makes them that much better, though. Like, if I'm OKC, I don't make any moves. Like, they have an awesome record. The team seems to be gelling. Like, why would you even mess with that?
And if you're the Jazz, you're like, we have a lot of picks here, like the trade, but we're not building around a guy who's in his 30s with an injury history. Like, it's not like we're not going to be able to build around Cat. I mean, not Cat. I mean, we're not going to build around Davis.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Lakers, even if they wanted to trade one of those, they could probably get something for Davis, but I don't know what.
You can probably get a few firsts for Bronny, but like you don't want to give up on a young talent like that.
Right. Yeah, I guess Davis would get traded before LeBron. I don't see how LeBron gets traded with that contract.
I just don't see how you're going to fit. Davis contract also, you know, like it just doesn't. They're too good and too big of contracts, and too old for it to make sense.
Yeah. I mean, Davis is a little. I mean, it's like $5 million less than LeBron's, but it's still $43 million.
Davis is more useful. Like you could see a team like the Magic. He'd be a pretty good fit on the Magic, I guess. But then you'd have to give up like one of your two. I mean, I guess Paolo and Franz are both injured, but you have to give up one of those guys.
Yeah.
Would you give up one of those guys to get Davis?
Probably not. No. I mean, they're way younger, and you know they got injuries right now, but overall they seem to be healthier.
Or you're the Cavs, and you're like, hey, I know we're winning a lot of games, but like, are we for real? Like, what if we traded and get like Anthony Davis, like really put ourselves over the top?
It might be Butler. Butler makes the exact same amount as LeBron.
Why do you do that though? Miami didn't have enough assets to trade for Dame last year or 2 years ago. Last year, I guess it was.
No, Miami Lakers trade.
No, I'm saying like if you traded Butler for like Anthony Davis
or LeBron.
Why do the Lakers do that? Or why did either team? I guess why does either team do that? Like the Miami gets Anthony Davis, suddenly they're gonna like win it.
I don't know. They're both first round fodder right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to justify unless you think that move's gonna propel you towards the top.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like things are going a little bit sour in Miami with Butler. Hate to see it. Such a shame.
So looking at this right now, I think Orlando is and we should end the show, by the way, very soon.
Yeah.
Orlando is the only team I could see here where like they maybe could justify. They have a bunch of young players. They have draft picks. They're not that far off, especially when they're going to get these guys back, Paolo and Franz. Like if you could hold on to Paolo and Franz and add a third guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you add Anthony Davis, like...
Yeah. I wouldn't hold my breath, like, waiting for one of those guys to get traded.
Houston can make a trade, but again, why would you do if you're Houston?
Yeah, I wouldn't trade for those guys. Like, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay. Anyway, Knicks are playing pretty well. I would say they're playing awesome, but I'm not there yet.
Right. So they're playing the Hawks, and then we have no idea because of the stupid tournament. So
they should beat the Hawks, right?
Yeah. And based Knicks fan says, is Jay still missing Randall? No.
Randall's not that bad. I mean, Randall's not having a terrible season.
I was a huge Randall supporter. I'll admit
we both were. Yeah,
Towns is better. That's
Randall's numbers this year. And again, I'm not watching him every day like I used to watch. I mean, like obviously I watched him a lot more in the Knicks. I basically watch the Knicks all the time and do not watch the other guys as much. But like, do you think his numbers are a lot worse this year?
No. It's just Towns is better. It's hard to miss a guy when his replacement's better.
Yeah. So currently, Randall is shooting. His field goal percentage is actually a little higher than last year. He's shooting almost 49% from the field. He's shooting 36% from three, so his three-point shooting is also higher than last year. His rebounds, he's getting a few less rebounds when he's playing next to Gobert, so that makes sense. He has one less assist. He's averaging 20 points a game instead of 24 points a game. His numbers aren't that far off from his All-Star season last year.
Yeah.
You know who's not playing very well?
Dante, yeah.
Dante looks terrible, at least from the stat. But I have not watched him, but Minnesota fans are complaining about him, and his stats look terrible.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably just not happy.
Dante, if you could play a little worse and get released, the Knicks will find a home for you next season. Just get released.
Yeah.
Do whatever you can. Just pull a George Steinbrenner. I'm sorry, George. I mean George Costanza. Like, just do anything you can to get fired. And when you're cut, Knicks will bring you home. You'll be our sixth man. It'll be fantastic again.
I would love to see him back next year.
Like, he really just does everything possible to get to get cut from the team.
He doesn't even need to get cut. He just needs to get waived like after the season.
He holds a one-man protest against the in-season tournament. Minnesota's like, fine, we'll cut you.
Okay, so that's it for today's show. Thank you for listening. We are nynextpodcast@gmail.com if you want to email us. nynextpodcast on Patreon, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can subscribe anywhere podcasts are available.
And Jay, if they want to come over for dinner, when are you gonna have people over?
I have a potluck every other Thursday, so you can meet me up there. And
What do you want to give out your address?
You have to email You have to email me. All right, so yeah, we'll be back next week talking about either 1 or 3 games.
Yes.
Love the tournament.
Let's do it.
Bye, bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, 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 everybody.
So yeah, the Knicks are the 2 seed in the Cup. I just found it. So if they beat the Hawks, they go to the Cup Eastern Finals, and then if they win that, and that they will play the winner of today's game, the Bucks Magic. And if they win that, then they go to the actual finals.
Oh, it's Bucks Magic, or okay.
Yeah, they're playing right now, and then later tonight,
the entire show we didn't know that they were the 2 seed.
later tonight it's the Thunder Mavs, and then tomorrow it's the Rockets Warriors, and that's the West.
Okay.
Cool.
It's really cool. And Milwaukee, it's a tough, close game here.